The Rams made their first playoff appearance since 2004, and really, that's where it ended. They followed the Atlanta Falcons 26-13 in an NFC wildcard game. This is Gary Klein. I'm Lindsay Theory for the Los Angeles Times. Really, none of us expected the Rams to even be here. They finished the season 11-6 after finishing 4-12 just a year ago. And as surprising as it was for them to make the playoffs, Gary, I think we're a little bit more surprised by how this game ended for the Rams. A couple of errors on special teams, which has been outstanding all season, and then Todd Gurley becoming such a reliable pass catcher out of the backfield, they really couldn't get him going.
The Rams come into the game with the NFL's highest scoring offense. First-year coach Sean McVay has them rolling, but they come in tonight. Jared Goff struggles early. As you mentioned, Todd Gurley, he caught the ball, although he did have a few drops, and he just couldn't gain yardage on those pass receptions. The Atlanta Falcons, everyone talked about, is experience going to play a role in this game? The Atlanta Falcons shut down Gurley in the pass game, and they showed their experience.
And on kick returns and punt returns, 2 turnovers. Pharoh Cooper, second-year player, he was named to the Pro Bowl. He's had an outstanding season. Kind of 2 uncharacteristic plays. First, on a punt return where he kind of signaled that he was going to catch it. Then he was like, no, a fair catch. And then he's like, ah. And before you know it, it hit his teammate in the foot, and the Falcons recovered the ball. And then on a kick return, he's running down the field, and before you know it, he's stripped of the football.
Not the way that Pharoh Cooper wanted to end the season. He did come into this game with a shoulder injury. I don't know if that had anything to do with the fumble on the kick return, but as you mentioned, special teams for the Rams have been outstanding under John Fossil. That's been a dependable unit that's creating points, and tonight they gave the Atlanta Falcons points.
And the defense really seemed to do all it could in the first quarter, but they couldn't seem to get off the field with the errors on special teams. They did lose Michael Brockers there in the first half. Really a costly loss for the Rams as the Falcons continued to run at would have been Michael Brockers' position. Instead, it was backup Morgan Fox. And Sean McVay said after the game that Brockers definitely was missed.
He was missed, and the thing was, Aaron Donald was creating all kinds of havoc for the Falcons.
Matt Ryan will be sore tomorrow,
early in that game. But, you know, I talked to Trumaine Johnson after the game, who was charged with covering Julio Jones at times, and he said, you know, the problem tonight was the defense, which has focused on turnovers, which has created a turnover in 8 games on the first possession. They came up with nothing tonight. That's partly against the Rams, but I think, again, that goes back to the experience of Matt Ryan and this Atlanta Falcons offense.
The playoff experience at the Coliseum, I think better than anyone could have really anticipated. Fans came early. They were in their seats. Really, this can't be blamed on the Rams not feeling like they had a home playoff atmosphere. Although, Gary, they really haven't been great at the Coliseum. This team's actually been better on the road all season by a pretty fair margin.
These players and these coaches were excited about being at home because of what it could do for their brand. But there's no question, they play better on the road. And I think the fan experience tonight, regardless of how this ended, I think this was a nice setting for the Rams and for their fans. Hey, they got to the playoffs. I don't think anyone expected them really to get this far. So it was a celebration of sorts, but it ended on a down note.
Nothing for the Rams to hang their head about once again, finishing 11-6, coming off a 4-12 year. In the locker room after the game, guys were down, but I think they knew that this was a really big accomplishment. Sean McVay, a young coach, Jared Goff, a young quarterback. So really the core of this team should be sticking together. They can make several runs here in the next several seasons.
They'll have some off-season moves to consider in terms of personnel, in terms of salaries and contracts and everything else. But the foundation is there. You've got a coach, you've got a quarterback, you've got a running back that, you know, could win the MVP and a dominant defensive player. So I think the pieces, or many of the pieces, are there for the Rams, but we'll see if they can continue to build on this.
We thought we were going to be talking about making a trip to Minneapolis next week. Instead, we'll be right back at the Rams facility on Sunday morning for exit interviews. Be sure to keep it on the Los Angeles Times. Gary and I will be in Thousand Oaks. We'll be sure to keep you updated on all the off-season news. That includes some contracts, the combine, you know, the draft, all this stuff. It never stops. I know the Rams will just try to keep on building, Gary, an 11-6 season.
Well, again, they've got the foundation. Les Snead, general manager, was under fire at this time last year. He made some good acquisitions, and the key for the Rams is going to be to make more of those and develop the young players that played well this year.
All right, we'll see you later this week from Thousand Oaks.